Our lesson for today is called Follow the Leader. We're going to be talking about conductors. In order for a chorus or an orchestra to play well and to know what they're doing, they have to have a conductor. The conductor will tell them when to play or what instrument is going to be featured, whether to sing high or whether to... I'm going to read to you the job of a music conductor. The first conductors, now that's a long time ago, kept time by pounding the floor with a wooden stick. Then they began using hand patterns to beat the time. Because it was often hard for orchestras and large choirs to see the conductor's hands, the conductor used a 20-inch long roll of paper. Can you imagine a roll of paper to conduct? This paper was replaced by a thin stick called a baton. Today, batons are available in various lengths, widths, and materials. Some are plastic and some are wood. Some batons are even lighted so that the group can follow the orchestra leader's musical pattern in a dark concert hall. A conductor uses the baton in one hand to help the group keep together musically, and he uses the other hand to help give special instruction. However, not all conductors use a baton. Many choral would be for singers, conductors prefer to conduct with their hands only. When the conductor's hands are close to his body, the group plays or sings softly. When he uses big gestures, they play louder. If he points to a player, then that signal is a cue for the player to play or to sing. When the conductor closes his hand, it is a signal for an instrument or a group to stop playing or singing. Isn't that amazing? This would be louder, this would be softer. This would be a signal to stop playing. And that is how an orchestra or a choral group or chorus. Some of you may have seen choirs on television where there are over 100 singers who have different voice levels. And a conductor has to know when he wants the altos, which are the lower female voices, the baritones, the bass, the sopranos, and so forth, the tenors, depending upon the voices of the male or females in his choir, he has to know when it's appropriate for them to sing together or one at a time. And that's what a conductor has to do, and the same thing for music. He has to know when the violins need to play, so he has to be able to read music, and he has to know when it's the percussions have to bang on the drums and the cymbals. He has to know everything. So, because otherwise there would be chaos. There would be a wild mob of people not knowing what to do, playing any old thing in any way they can, at any time they can. So the conductor is the one who brings everybody together in unison as one body. Okay, I'm going to read a poem to you, and it's called The Concert Begins. Melodies clashing, cymbals crashing, splashing our ears with a jumble jangle, cello, trumpet, tambourine tangle. Then silence growing like quiet snowing, flowing into one note, pure and clear, the musicians tune to the pitch they hear. Audience clapping, conductor tapping, wrapping his thin baton on his stand, suddenly swiftly raising his hand. Bows bounding, drums pounding, sounding through the concert hall to each plush seat and lamp-lit wall. Flutes trilling, harmonies spilling, filling the room with waves of sound. Beautiful music all around. Okay, now before the concert begins, the orchestra warms up. That's in the first paragraph where they're clashing and they're getting their instruments ready. And then the conductor uses his hands or his baton and gets everybody together and starts playing the beautiful music. Okay, that is following the leader. And we have music with Mr. Dan, and you know that he wants us to follow him when he gives you his hand signals. He has certain hand signals that he's taught you, and we have to watch them to know when he wants us to sing a note or say a note, how many beats, and so on. Okay, so that is our little lesson for today. Look at these sentences that I have on the board, and we're going to be discussing them. Remember, we talked about when to use uppercase or capital letters. First time we use it is, of course, in our names, and we will find some names here. Also, to begin a sentence, we need to have a capital letter. So let's go through this and let's see what happens to the rest of the sentence. All right, number one, Wendy traveled to Boston. Wendy is a girl's name, and it is also the first word in the sentence. So we begin it with a capital letter. Okay? Now, what else do you think needs a capital letter? Look carefully. Remember, the names of important persons, places, or things need to have uppercase letters. Okay? We're not going to capitalize the T in traveled, are we? It's not the name of a special thing. Neither is the word to. What about Boston? Do you know what Boston is? Boston is a city. Boston is in Massachusetts, and that is a special name of a city, and therefore it should have a capital letter. So let's make it with a capital letter. All right, now let's look at number two. Number two says John's grandparents live in South Carolina. Well, we know that the first word in the sentence has to have a capital, and not only does it have a capital because it's the first word, but it's also a person's name. Look carefully. John's grandparents live in South Carolina. Now, you might think that grandparents should be a capital, but it's not, because it's the name like mother and father, a general name. But if we say grandpa or grandma or mom, dad, if we're referring to them, if that's their name, then it would be a capital. But right now, it's just the overall name of who these people are. Now, what should have a capital letter? Okay, we have a place, right? Just like we had Boston, which was a city. Now, a state also has to have a capital letter, South Carolina. And there is a period here, but you can't really see it. But I did put a period. Okay, next sentence. Ruthie lives on Elm Street. First word in the sentence, and also the fact that Ruthie is a name. Okay, now, if I said Ruthie lives on this street, or Ruthie lives on that avenue, I would not need a capital letter. But now I'm giving that street a name, just like you're giving the girl Ruthie a name, or the girl Wendy a name. You're giving that street a name, and it should have a capital letter, and it is Elm Street. Okay. All right, now, so we have a city, the name of the city, the name of a state, the name of a street. Let's do the next sentence. Number 4, we went to Disney World. Now, we is not a person's name, so do we need a capital letter? Of course we do, because it's the first word in a sentence. But what else needs a capital or uppercase letter? If we said we went to an amusement park or we went on rides, we wouldn't have a capital or an uppercase. But when we're giving that place, that amusement park, a name, and its name is Disney World, we need to put in capital letters. Capital D and a capital W. Okay? So that is what we call for capitalization. Capitalization. Okay, I'm gonna read. We know we have two sounds of C. One is the hard C, which is a K sound, and that would be with an A, an O, or a U. For example, cap, cop, cup. A soft C or an S sound would be cent, city, cyclone. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to have a little game. Well, not really a game because I can't hear you talk. But what I want to do is whenever you hear a soft C, you're going to be a conductor. Whenever you hear a soft C sound, I'm going to, with the word that I call out, you keep your conductor hands close to your body. When you hear a hard C, I want you to wave your arms. Okay? Soft C, hard C. Just think about it, a hard C. You ready? Set, let's go. Cup. Yes. Pencil. Lock. Race. Tick. Pack. Lamp. Candle. Cider. Fancy. December. Prince. Cell. Crib. Cuff. Scent. Crumb. Okay, you got it? All right, I'm going to read to you a little riddle and see if you can guess what it is. It's going to have either a hard C or a soft C. With this you write and with this you draw, whether you are right-handed or a southpaw. A southpaw is a lefty. What is it? A word that has a S or a K in it. What do you write with? A pencil. This is a creature with so many feet. You'd think he would trip as he crosses the street. What insect has so many feet? In fact, 100. Centipede. Good. The amount you pay on a hot summer day for an icy cold drink served on a tray. What's another word when you pay for something and it costs you something? You ask, another word, what is the cost of it? What is the price of it? In a castle he lives and rides a fine horse. His father, who is he? Why, the king, of course. Whose father is a king? A prince. Get on your mark. Ready, set, go. If you're going to win this, you can't be slow. What are you doing? You're having a what? A race. Ted wanted to buy some warm apple pie, but his money was spent except for 1 cent. Okay, and that is our review. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to be doing workbook pages 237 and 238, and you're going to be working with capitals or uppercase letters for the names of streets and cities and roads, whatever has a special name, okay? All right, that is your phonics assignment.